All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Talk Rockets, episode number 15 here. It's been a while since my last Let's Talk Rockets, but now that the NBA season is officially over, I got a little bit more free time. Don't have to be watching, many hours of basketball every single night. So the Rockets content, we're back to Houston Rockets daily. I guess is the point here. We're gonna get this one. This one's gonna be a quickie. Who doesn't love a quickie? We're just going to talk about a couple of free agents here. We have a couple of tweets. Get back in the swing of things. I appreciate everybody tuning in live and unlive. Be sure to hit the like button, hit that sub button for daily Rockets content. What is up to my man Shade Texan? Nice to see you. As always, we just have two tweets here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the situations going on with Houston. What is up to my boy Matt? We got Shade and Matt in the chat, the two day one OGs. I appreciate y'all pulling up. Vegas probably does get it done tonight. So first things first, you can see it on the screen here. As an alternative to James Harden, the Rockets could consider a run at Kyrie Irving in 2023 free agency. I actually feel like, like my Rocket, like you two, like Shade and Matt, I know this too. I swear, man, I've talked about Kyrie coming to the Rockets time and time again. Kyrie Irving is a phenomenal basketball talent. He is so good. We're all fully aware of how good he is. With Kyrie, it's more off the court things that pose the issue. Me personally, I don't have any issue with Kyrie Irving as an individual at all. It's not my place. I don't know him personally. Like, even if I had a problem with him, that's like a me issue. I would rather have, just like Matt saying in the chat, I would rather have Kyrie than James Harden any day of the week. I think Kyrie Irving with Ime Udoka's offense, I think with Jalen Green, with guys like Jabari, the number 4 pick, Alperen Şengün, I think that's the most beneficial move. I really do. The thing is this, Kyrie Irving could be playing some chess here. At the end of the day, I don't think Kyrie actually leaves Dallas. I don't think Kyrie Irving and James Harden or Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic work at all, like as far as winning a championship, but they're going to pay him. And it's going to come down to Kyrie Irving getting paid. So if Dallas wants to pay him, does he want to just kind of try and show like, oh, hey, I could go somewhere else? Like, it's not just Los Angeles who already has said, no, we're all set on Kyrie. It's not just Dallas. You can't short end me here because if you do that, well, a team like Houston's going to pay me. I think Houston works, or Kyrie Irving in a Houston Rocket jersey. I think it works perfectly. I can just kind of imagine and envision him playing for the Houston Rockets. And especially with Ime Udoka as coach, I don't think there'd be any off the court shenanigans at all, to be honest with you. I think I get it from a business standpoint. Like if you're Rafael Stone, if you're, anywhere of upper management on the Houston Rockets, owner, GM, coaches, whatever it is, you do have to unfortunately think about the business side of things. I would view Kyrie Irving to Houston as relatively unlikely, but I would certainly open him with welcome arms, and I would love to have him as a Houston Rocket. We have a question here from Hector. I'm just going to talk about two more things and then throw all your chats down below, and I will definitely get to them when we're done here. So the next one is just about James Harden. Stephen A. Smith on James Harden. The Rockets might be willing to give him a 2-year deal, but they ain't willing to give him 4 years, particularly at max dollars. This is by far the best option available here. What's up, Thurman? Nice to hear from you, man. It's been a while. I would love James Harden to come back to the Houston Rockets just as a story. I also do think he could help some players. I think he would be beneficial for guys like Jalen Green. I don't think James Harden would be beneficial to Alperen Şengün's personal development. That's just me. I don't think we have the roster to compete for a championship right now as it stands. However, things could happen. They could go out and get Cam Johnson. They could get Brook Lopez, and they could get James Harden, the number 4 pick. And all of a sudden, just like that, well, that's a playoff roster. You're right. Oh, my goodness gracious. I didn't even realize that. Shout out for changing that. How's that? I think that's the only one I have available. Yeah, it is. Yeah, man. All love to Steven Silas, but welcome to Houston, Ime. Basically, my point here is this, man. If James Harden and the Rockets are trying to actually get a reunion here, it's not the thing I'm most excited about. However, it would definitely want to be a 2-year contract, and I just would want it to be financially feasible, even though the Rockets financially are extremely flexible. I don't think, James Harden is just not a winner, man. I'm trying to win here, and culture, it's a big part. Look at the Denver Nuggets, who just won the NBA Finals last night. Like, culture is everything. The Golden State Warriors, there was a fight that broke before the season even started. How'd their season end? Like, Denver, the players love each other. Like, they're friends. You want your players to be friends with each other. Uh, so that makes it interesting. And then you have, some guys I kind of don't mind here. By the way, I'm back home in Chicago. I don't have Wi-Fi downstairs, so we're doing this in the office. This is me at a very young age. I've done a couple of streams here. I think actually my first ever Houston Rockets daily stream was a year and a half ago at this desk during Christmas break. So let's hit the chats, but keep asking questions. Brooke Lopez is enticing to me, and the reason being, Brooke Lopez, especially at this age, I don't think would hinder Alperen Şengün's development per se, especially because he can shoot the three. What's up, Jorge? Appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed your time in Florida. If you're gone, I'll be back there relatively soon. But Florida's a good place to be, man. Brooke Lopez, Cam Johnson. It's going to be interesting to see what the Rockets decide to do. But I know we have some chats in here, so we're going to soon talk about it. From Hector, we currently have KPJ and Tata Washington Jr. at point guard. How do we go about getting a point guard in free agency? Well, I think most importantly, it's got to be a complementary piece to your new draft picks, or current draft picks and future draft picks. Like, the best way to build a team is through the draft. And I think, the Denver Nuggets winning the championship really, Golden State even especially too. But, I think Denver, the theme is they kind of are reinforcing this blueprint of building through the draft. Guys like Christian Brown, a rookie, being valuable no matter how much he's playing in an NBA Finals, not game, but series, and the whole playoffs at that matter. I mean, that's really, really important. Drafting is really important in every single sport. I really like Amen Thompson. I think Amen Thompson is that guy. I would rather have him over Brandon Miller 100%. The thing with Brandon Miller is he's the best college basketball player. Amen Thompson's boom or bust potential, I think, is so high. However, Brandon Miller was the best player in college. So we have to take a look at the number 3 pick. What's Portland trying to do? There's a ton of stuff Portland's trying to do. More importantly, win a championship, just in general, get back into the playoffs. I would think they would be more inclined to take a guy like Brandon Miller over Amen Thompson. However, we look at Shaedon Sharpe last season, who did not play a game in college, have a great rookie season, and provide, like, Shaedon Sharpe is part of the Blazers' future. He's not a project. He is a project in his own regard, being him just finishing his rookie season. But, this is a dude who can help contribute. He's not afraid of the moment, I'll tell you that. And he's a freak athlete. I'd be fine with Brandon Miller. I'd be fine with Amen Thompson. So that's going to go into it as well. And the draft's 9 days away, 7 days away? It's something, it might be actually 7 days. I think it's 9 days away from now. That's going to be first and foremost, because we have free agency starting up pretty much. Like, free agency begins really soon for basketball, and things are going to be moving. So, it's going to come down to the draft, and then it's going to come down to James Harden, and then it's going to come down to Kyrie Irving, Chris Paul. I would love getting a guy like Chris Paul on I know there's somebody here. Easy E, what's good? By the way, guys, hit that like button. Chris Paul on a 2-year contract with a team option is something I would do so fast. It's just something I would do so fast. And the thing with Chris Paul is he's not going to play 60 games. Maybe he plays 60 games. He's going to play between 50 and 60 games. I don't think he would hinder the development of a guy like Tata Washington Jr. Kevin Porter Jr. improved last season greatly. And so I also don't think he would hinder his playing time that much. I've always said KPJ should be coming off the bench no matter what team he's on. I think he off the bench is a huge weapon to have. If Kevin Porter Jr. was the Rockets' 6th man coming off the bench, if we had a playoff roster, I think would be huge. KPJ also not afraid of the moment, not a guy I'll be worrying about if we get into or when we get into the playoffs. Uh, if Kyrie comes here, there could be some issues. Are they still pursuing Cat? Because if so, Kyrie makes sense. The Rockets are interesting because the more time that goes on, it just kind of seems like Alperen Şengün to the Rockets isn't their long term guy. Uh, However, Steven Silas and Alperen Şengün had a weird relationship with playing time. Cat's a viable candidate. I'm not a huge Cat fan. He actually kind of pisses me off almost in the sense of like I don't think he's got that it factor. I would still take Cat, but I don't. I would imagine that means we move on from Şengün, and I'd rather have Penguin Sengun than Karl Anthony Towns, especially money wise. Like especially money wise. So Cat's a guy I wouldn't be surprised if he gets shipped off somewhere. Scoot Henderson would be awesome. I want to draft Amen and sign Chris Paul, start CP3 over Amen year one. Yep. And like I said, Chris Paul's going to miss at least 25 games or around 20 games. So we should be able to see, a bunch of opportunities. Sorry, and finish that. We have 9 days away from the draft. Awesome. Draft's going to be fun, man. Maybe I'll stream it. How far do we go this season? It remains to be seen. I don't think you can really, make that accurate of a prediction. I can still make a prediction. I don't think it would be that accurate. I would imagine if we ran the same exact roster we have right now with presumably a number 4 pick and 20 pick, I still think the Rockets trade number 20 just because we already have a lot of mouths to feed, and there's going to be even more mouths to feed with guys like Amen coming in and free agents and all this money. I know we have a lot of money right now, but you want to be flexible. It's the most important thing. You want to be flexible. I would probably say Houston would hover around below 500 next year if we had the same roster with 2 new rookies coming in, no vets, 2 rookies coming in. I don't think we would get to 500 unless you saw, depending on who we take at 4 and what they look like in their rookie season. And then, obviously the jumps of year 3 guys in Şengün and Green. What's KPJ looking like next year? How's Jatari looking, right? Tari Eason could definitely be money for us like he was last year, but, could kind of come into more of established like Bruce Brown-esque role. We'd probably hover around the plane. The West is really good in the sense we were talking about this on the show today. I think the West is really good. I think there's really good talent in the Western Conference. However, I think team-wise, it's still pretty wide open. Like Denver's the best team in the Western Conference right now. And, there's squads like Phoenix, both LA teams. There's a lot of talent that they're not like a terrifying, like it's not like Golden State back in the day, back in their dynasty where it's like, oh shit, man, like I'm like absolutely terrified to play this team. Like hell no. I don't think the West has a team like that. Even Denver, as good as Denver is, it's going to be interesting to see what happens because, like 5 years from now or 4 years from now, Jokic and MPJ combined are going to be making $100 million. When you're trying to create a dynasty and continue to win, I mean, you're going to have to make some tough decisions. So Denver's going to look different next year, 100%. But my point is, I really don't think the Houston's window for winning a championship is that long. I really, in the sense of, I think they could create, I don't think it's far away, and I think they could make something happen for a long period of time, and it all comes down to the core. It just all comes down to the core and who you're drafting. You can improve in free agency. Teams do improve. You should improve in free agency, but it comes down to drafting, evaluating, scouting, all of this talent. Coaching staff is so big. Management is so big. So it's going to be a really exciting offseason for the Houston Rockets, no matter what we decide. And next year, even if we had the same roster right now with no new rookies, the Rockets next season would still be, in my opinion, very fun to watch. The Rockets at times this past year were very fun to watch. Obviously, there are a bunch of growing pains. You get guys like Dacian Nix pop in there for 30 minutes. He'll catch a start or two. And there were definitely some tough games, but like, who doesn't like watching the Jalen Green, the KPJ show. Sometimes KPJ, Jalen Green, they have, big ass games together. You get a Şengün masterclass. It's always fun when Jabari's hitting those threes, getting it done on defense. I like the Rockets' versatility. Uh, one thing I really like actually about the position we're in, and it's why I'm a pretty big advocate for getting a guy like Brook Lopez, because I don't think he would stunt the development of Alperen Şengün. Maybe, it felt good. That was my elbow. Maybe a guy like Al Horford actually, I think would be, the type of player I'm looking for where, they're not playing 30 plus a night. And, maybe they're starting, but that things would get really interesting. Things are gonna be really interesting next year because I'm even imagining like, damn dude, what if we got one of Harden or Kyrie, and then we also draft Amon Thompson or even Brandon Miller? There's just only 5 opening roster spots. So my point that I was trying to make here that I'm thinking about now is like, I really like Jabari as actually more of a 5, which we saw a ton of at the end of last year, where you have your big men are Jabari and Şengün, but I just think Jabari's defensive ceiling is so high. I really think Jabari Smith Jr. is such a unique special talent because of his defensive ability. Once that 3 ball gets figured out, if he can add a handle to his game and start to create for himself, Jabari Smith Jr. will be a star. But at worst, man, his defensive versatility with his wingspan and his height, his ability to play so many different positions, his ability to guard so many different positions. I mean, man, dude, I'm very excited about Jabari Smith Jr. I'm very excited about him. And I think he flew so under the radar for everybody last year. Obviously, Rocket fans, we know kind of what he was doing towards the end of last year. I love your content, big homie. Keep it up. You should have a bigger platform. All blessings to you. I appreciate it very much, man. Always appreciate the kind words, and it's gonna be a fun season for this channel, fun off season. Kyrie would be a better fit than Harden for sure. Uh, I would rather have Amen over Kyrie or Harden. Yeah, let me know. What are you guys? Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Amen Thompson, or if you could only have one, would you rather have Amen Thompson or one of Kyrie, Harden, or Chris Paul? Let me know down below. Beverly and Lopez. Patrick Beverly is a great idea. I fully agree with that as well. Patrick Beverly is a great idea. I'm anxious to see what happens with KJ Martin Jr. He's shown a lot of flashes. He hasn't been offered an extension yet. The rumors of him being disgruntled makes things interesting with there's another top behind me. I don't think KJ Martin Jr. has a future with the Houston Rockets for much longer, which sucks. I don't even think it necessarily has that much to do with all the drama that's going on or that has happened. KJ Martin Jr. is a great basketball player. I love that he started 49 games last year, 13 points, 5.5 rebounds. He can play on the defensive side. Bad shooting season from him. He shot just 31.5. That is actually shocking, but an extremely efficient 57%. He gets to the rim. He moves without the ball. He's versatile. KJ Martin Jr. is everything you want. It's just, man, like we have a lot of players. Like I'm thinking if we draft Brandon Miller, it might be the end of it. Like, even on our existing roster with KJ, with Jabari, with Tari, I'm going to throw Jayshawn Tate in there, even though he doesn't have a jump shot. That actually now has me curious what Jayshawn Tate shot from downtown last season. I don't think Tate's future with Houston is going to happen for much longer. I think the same with KJ. There's just going to be decisions that they have to make. Like imagine Houston takes Amen or Brandon at 4, and they actually get, even if you get like a Jaylen Brown, but even if you get a Cam Johnson or you even get a Austin Reeves, I would love, or a Dylan Brooks. A lot of mouths to feed, man. Let's just pull up the Houston Rockets salary right now for the screen. Point is, man, a lot of mouths to feed. And the more you bring in, the even more mouths you got to feed. Tandy Green. What an era of Rockets rosters it has been. It has been so crazy, actually. Can you guys see this? All right. Give me CP3 back because he can help with the development like he did in OKC and took him to the playoffs 100%. This is exactly what the ideal thought process would be if you get Chris Paul. That's exactly what it was. Even if he can't do what he did in OKC and take us to the playoffs, the expertise, the knowledge he has, it's just at this point, man, especially with like what we've been seeing in the last week with him talking about, his like daughter getting bullied at school. Okay. I guess that's it for today. I got some meatloaf in the fridge that I'm looking forward to. And the Wi Fi doesn't want this to happen. We got good, man. I miss streaming Rockets talk so much. I could sit here and talk Rockets all day, every day. That was a really fast 23 minutes. I appreciate everybody tuning in here. Uh, I really want to take this channel balls to the wall. I tried to get, Let's Talk Rockets is what this is. I tried to get it going on streaming platforms, and which I just couldn't get a following on it. But I don't want to give up. I just got to figure out a way to retool it, make it a little bit more professional. Is not necessarily what I'm looking for, but I really like the interactive idea of basketball podcasts. I really like it. So I appreciate you guys all tuning in here. And there's just gonna be so much Rockets content on this channel this summer. It's gonna be awesome. Go follow Let's Talk Rockets on Twitter. You can go do that. My Twitter is JelStroYT, but just go to Let's Talk Rockets. You can find my Twitter and all that if you are so inclined for more updates on live streams. But yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'll see you guys later.